Good afternoon. Today is the 31st of July, and rather than be on my own and record a very vague, not particularly interesting and probably quite boring vlog, we have a very familiar face here.
Oh, am I familiar?
Well, you tell me. You better be, because you just paid me some money for this car.
Well, that much is certainly true, but yeah, I think I'm actually quite well known by upwards of 12 people.
12 people?
Allegedly.
So what is it, sir, that has made you want to buy this particular car?
What a good and interesting question. Right, well, I've been a fan of the car pretty much since you bought it, because I'm also a fan of you and your channel. But it happens to perfectly fill a gap in my fleet. As you know, but some of your viewers may not, all of my fleet are effectively in the same colour, Starlight Silver Metallic, or the nearest colour thereof. And I have kind of each model of the MG Rover range in the kind of decade that I deal with, around the beginning of the century, around the 2000 mark, a little bit before, a little bit afterwards. But I don't have a 45. I did have a 45 and I sold it. So there has been a 45 shaped hole in the fleet, and I very specifically wanted a pre-facelift saloon. Had to be silver, and obviously the ultimate car would be the V6. So yeah, I've kind of deliberately not filled that gap in the fleet, in the hope that maybe this one might come up one day.
And sir, why don't you get in and sit in the seat? Seat of delight.
The seat of power and joy.
The seat of power and joy. And how does that feel, sir?
Very comfortable indeed. Quite familiar, but a decided improvement on my 45, the Honourable H.J. Rover, who of course was a facelift, so you didn't have this rather splendid interior. Now the seats, I know that most people would say that the pre-Project Rise seats were better, aka the Rover 75. Controversially, I prefer these. They look a little bit more contemporary as far as I'm concerned, a little bit less like the kind of seats that you might find when you visit your grandmother in the local nursing home. So I'm very pleased with this. I like the contrasting duotone interior. It's certainly in excellent condition. I love the fact that it's automatic. I've only got one other auto on the fleet at the moment, and auto would normally be my preference. He will be, and he does have a name now. I'm sorry.
What name is that, sir?
His name is Sir Richard Morris. And the reason for that is twofold. One, Sir had to be in there somewhere, given the fact that it's your car.
We're very polite on this channel, sir.
We are indeed, I've noticed that. And the second thing is, in my mind, this is kind of a derivative of the P6B. A relatively small car with a relatively large engine, which is something that Rover used to do quite a bit. I'm also a fan of faulty towers, and in the first episode you may recall that a posh couple were supposed to be staying at the hotel, and they decided to leave after they saw Basil at his worst. And they were Sir Richard and Lady Morris. They were driving a P6, and that is how this fellow has got his name. It's going to be my only car on the fleet with cruise control, which is a massive plus.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of
works,
cruise control.
And so does the air conditioning.
Another massive plus. I would struggle to choose between aircon and a sunroof, but having both,
you've got both.
That's the absolutely ideal solution. And I love bum warmers. I'm very fond of my seat being heated.
Well, those work too.
Happy days. I am, in all respects, a very happy bunny. How do you feel about parting with it?
The thing is that this needs to go to somebody who's not going to use it as a daily car all the time.
Yeah.
It needs to go to somebody who will kind of look after it. And I think, sir, that you are that man.
Oh, you're very kind, and I was grateful that you, and I still am grateful that you came to me first, as it were. And
Yeah.
I have moved heaven and earth to make this happen, and I am very happy indeed. It will lead, as anybody who knows my fleet knows, it's going to lead a very pampered semi-retirement in the Peak District. It's not going to do a lot of work, but it is going to be cosseted, cared for. I might even break the habit of a lifetime and take him to a show.
Well, this car's been to an awful lot of shows, so
Yeah,
it's been to loads. So it's not really out of character for it.
And ironically, I think that the only two motoring type YouTubers who've never driven this car on camera are me and Captain Mustard.
He's been offered the chance many times.
I know he has.
And he's never taken it.
I know. Yeah, so I think the bingo card will finally be fully completed. I will be doing a bit of filming on the way home, and Mustard will no doubt do a road test on it at some point. It's absolutely lovely. Original mats.
Yeah, they are actually original mats.
I love, again, people look down on the Honda aspects, and arguably this car at 2003, this would be the one car in the then range that retains more of the Honda characteristics than any of the others. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that in the least. I enjoyed the Honda Rover crossover because I like both marques, and I think that they combined to very good effect.
Yeah.
I love this little bit here. That's straight back to the late 80s Honda.
Yeah, mirror switch is another really old Honda part.
Yes, that goes back to the mid to late 80s, doesn't it?
The stalks are straight off an R8, so exactly the same.
Yes, these are very familiar. Very familiar. Yeah. Although, I quite like my Freelander 1 because that's got Rover 800 stalks.
They are. There's some 800 bits in those. Right, so, well, I mean, we're going to have to go and do some paperwork now, and then you should be going back up to the very lovely north of England.
Yes, indeed. I've got a little bit of a jaunt ahead of me, just 200 miles or so. Absolutely nothing to a car of this calibre.
I came back from Loughborough in this, when was it, a couple of weeks ago, and it was sublime.
I went through Loughborough on the train. I'm looking forward to the journey home, and I feel that it will be done correctly and in character and properly for the car, because I will be deploying Radio 4.
Excellent, sir.
Are you a fan of the Archers?
My mother used to listen to the Archers every single day.
Quite right too. That is the correct thing to do. So yeah, you're in for a treat, Sir Richard. You are. It's the Archers for you.
Right. Well, viewers, make sure you subscribe to Boaty's World for more updates on this car and general other madness.
Yes.
And I think that's it for now.
Right.
Right, viewers, it is the next day. It's a bit later than I anticipated it being, but we are in what actually is the proper replacement for the 45 V6 on the fleet. This is a car that I've just filmed an episode of No Budget Reviews on. You've probably already seen it. It's a Volvo S40, and I'm very happy with this. It's not as involving to drive at all as the 45 V6 was. The steering, and that is astonishing. From what I gather, Boaty has made it successfully back to the Peak District, and he's invited me to go up and see him at some point and see the rest of his collection that we will be probably very interested in at some point. So yes, overall I'm very happy the car's gone to the right place. I'm very happy as well with this new one, as you'll see on the episode No Budget Reviews. If you haven't put it, I'll put a link to that in the description below. And yes, we have some more adventures. What I'm going to do now is just sell the Volvo 460, the got one, the beige leather interior, because I've actually replaced that one as well with something else, which you know, I think is very fascinating. I've actually driven it already on the channel. It's currently having some work done by Mr. Coleman, a rubbish mechanic. Yes, I hope you will enjoy that one as much as I am going to be enjoying it. I'm enjoying this S42. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video in the comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more, I don't know, very vague and not particularly interesting music.